Hello and welcome to the online admissions talk for Geography and Environment. I'm Dr. James Jenkins and it's a pleasure to be talking to you now. As I will reiterate throughout my talk, you are welcome to contact me to ask questions that you need to ask to help you get the information that you need to make sure that you make the right choices for the future. It never is a problem for me to answer your questions, so do not hesitate to get in contact with me. Towards the end of the presentation, my talk, I'll provide you with my contact details and you're welcome to email me. It really is not a problem, so please do so. It'll be a pleasure to talk to you. So, as I like to do on normal open days in person, I like to start with I think sums up what studying geography and environment is all about. And now this is a quote that you have in front of you here. This is by Marie Curie, and I came across this quote when I was visiting the British Library in London, which is only 30 minutes by train from the university, and it's a fantastic additional resource to go to for your research projects, which you'll be doing in the future. And in the courtyard of the British Library, there's a quote by Marie Curie saying, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less." And I think in the current climate with COVID and a rapidly changing world with huge volumes of people moving around, this quote is more pertinent than ever. We just need to seek to understand to make a better world. And as you can see there, there's an image that I've taken from an Economist magazine, which I thoroughly recommend that you read to advance your knowledge in this area. And this beautiful illustration was on the front cover one week, and it really sums up what globalization is about. It's about people, different peoples moving around the world, going into unknown areas, and there in the background you can see people peering at them through the trees, etc., maybe slightly fearful. Well, really, as the quote says, we just need to understand each other to make a better world. And that's what geography and environment is about. It's about understanding how our environment operates, how we interact in that environment, and how we interact with each other in that environment, with the aim of making things better ultimately and finding solutions to the problems that we face. So on to the degree programs that we offer at the university. We offer a range of degree programs in our area. They are namely environmental management and ecology, physical geography, geography and human geography. And what binds all those programs together is that when you come and study with us, you'll undertake a common first year. And it's after that first year that you can get to specialise in your chosen degree program. And so the benefits of that are that you have another year that whilst you can choose your degree program before you start with us, you then have another year to make up your mind in essence. So if at the end of that first year you think, well, I'd like to switch from geography to human geography or environmental management to ecology and geography or vice versa, you can do that. Our program allows that. Also binding all of those degree programs together is that we have a formalized tutorial system. So that when you start studying with us, you'll be allocated a personal tutor who will be with you throughout your time with us. And that allows for you to have more in-depth your work and to be supported throughout your studies by an academic. And underpinning that support are modules that we have focused on developing your study skills, your employment skills, right throughout your studies with us. So we're preparing you for the world of work or the next stage in your studies where you may go on to study for a master's or even a PhD even. Okay. So a little bit more about our common first year, what our focus is. Well, in the first year, you'll study a range of modules with us. In the first semester, it's entirely coursework assessed. In the second semester, then, it is an equal split between coursework and exam. And our first year is very much focused on expanding your understanding of sustainability, what that means, your understanding of how we can conceptualize what space and place is about and why that's important to helping us understand how societies operate, how we interact with each other. You'll also focus on some of the science around how Earth systems function and operate and how our global environment is operating, which is terribly important to understanding the world around us and how we can improve our interactions with it and each other. You'll also, part of that component will be field trips, which I'll talk to you more about in due course, and also GIS, which you'll be focusing on and using, which is a very important component of a geography or environment degree. So you can see we have a range of modules in the first year. Some of the names are there: the Earth system, dynamic Earth, geographical environmental thought, which is one of the modules that I teach on in the first year, which is very much focused on developing your understanding of environmentalism, globalization, some of the thought processes and theories around how geography as a discipline has evolved, how environment has evolved as well. You also have a focus on political and economic geographies, very much a focus on ecosystems and environmental change, understanding that, which is terribly pertinent to understanding how climate change, which is a core topic that we explore throughout our degree programs, is affecting us and society. So there's lots of modules there that you can engage with, which we think are very interesting and exciting for students to study. Then as you move on, as I said earlier, you have a common first year, and then it's after that process for years 2 and 3 that you begin to specialise in your chosen degree pathway. So one of those areas that you could choose to specialise in is physical geography, where you leave with a physical geography degree, a BSc Honours in physical geography. And as you move into your second year, you begin to specialise. So on the physical geography pathway, you'd very much be focused on taking modules focused around earth surface processes and landforms, quaternary environmental change. And then in the final year, your focus is very much around natural hazards and disaster reduction and glacial and periglacial systems. So as you go through your studies with this, it's the same 4 degree pathways. You gradually study to become more specialised, and you end up being taught by experts in that area. Okay. So for example, there you can see a picture of our physical geography students hiking up a glacier in Switzerland, which is one of our field trips, which I'll tell you more about in due course. Now, other specialised degree programme offering is that of human geography. And your focus, again, comes about it. You start to specialise in your second year onwards, and the focus is very much around people, place and movement, understanding how we can conceptualise how people interact with each other, how they shape their areas, and why that matters to helping us manage the problems that may cause, etc. And then also one of our specialist focuses is on geographies of exclusion and marginalisation, which is very pertinent in living in a globalised world, one that is increasingly globalised. Then again, gradually you move on. In the final year, you'd focus on modules looking at very much urban placemaking, where most of the world's population now lives in urban areas, understanding how we interact and how we can improve those interactions and manage our interactions and plan for an environment that is less damaged by urban activity is of critical importance. So that module will do that there for you. And also, globalized world, you can't get away from the politics of it all. We have a specialist module in geopolitics, which seeks to advance your understanding of some of the key political issues of the day. And then again, you can see one of our key human geography field trips is to the Alhambra in Granada, Spain there, which the students love every year. Then if specialising in physical or human geography is not quite for you, you want to do elements of both, you can continue on to study for a geography BSc Honours degree. And as you would imagine, you do bits of both, bits of physical, bits of human geography. And our focus will very much be around you studying earth surface processes and landforms, understanding people, place and movement. And in the final year, your focus would be on natural hazards and urban placemaking, so having key elements of both pathways that we focus on in those distinctive degree programs. You'd also have options like both of the previous degree pathways in physical and human geography allow you to take optional modules. It's the same here. You could take optional modules in GIS, which you could do across our other degree programs. And you can also take optional modules in the area of glaciology or solving environmental problems. Our other degree program that you could study for is environmental management and ecology. Again, that has a common first year, which is the same as our geography. It's the same for our geography, physical geography, human geography degree pathways, and it's in your second year again that you begin to specialise. So your focus in environmental management and ecology begins to take shape in your second year, where you study a module called environment and society, and then in your final year, moving on to talk about habitat management and conservation. So the focus of that degree has a very strong ecology leaning, which is of critical importance. If you want to better manage the environment, you need to know about how you monitor and record certain species types, how you can then manage them, conserve them, and deal with the impact society that may have, for example, through road building, urban expansion, etc. If you're going to deal with the impacts of that, you need to know what the environment consists of, how you can recognise the species within it, and what your appropriate strategies are going to be. Again, it's the same for our other degree programs. You have a range of optional modules that you could take. So the focus here, you could take optional modules in the area of GIS and remote sensing. You could take an optional module in the area of solving environmental problems, which is very much focused on understanding how government businesses can better manage their impact upon the environment, become more socially responsible, for instance, and ultimately deal with such of the major issues of the day, such as climate change being just one issue. Other issues we touch upon on this degree and our other degrees is water resources management, migration, population, etc. Okay. And there we just have an example in that slide, that picture of students examining a flood mitigation scheme in London. So something that we're very proud of throughout our degree programs, all of them, is our extensive field work. We very much focus on developing your skills in the field. We think that's of critical importance. It's no coincidence that for geography degrees, environmental degrees in general, that students are incredibly employable because of their ability to think on their feet and to understand what is entailed by sampling in the field. And that requires you to be able to think and problem solve. And geography degrees, because of their fieldwork nature and the amount of fieldwork that you do, allow students to develop really good skills in that area. And that's something that employers are crying out for. But particularly in our degree, we have a lot of field work because we like to get you into the field to apply what you're learning, because we think that's one of the most effective ways to learn. And it's notable there, I have a quote there from Abby Khan, who's a former student of ours in the area of geography. She's now, was head of geography the last time I heard, at a school in nearby, I think in Hertfordshire somewhere. She says, I thought everyone must have had the same experiences, but upon speaking to friends who gained their undergraduate degree elsewhere, it seems that they were not so fortunate. So of course, you will be going to lots of open days and you'll be getting a feel for what those courses entail. So one of the things I would say is that if you're interested in fieldwork, look out for that, ask the questions around that. How much fieldwork will we be doing? We do an awful lot of fieldwork on our degree, and we think that makes an exciting degree, an exciting time. So one of our key field trips that all students go on is the field trip to the Lake District in the first year. And the students absolutely love that. It's a great opportunity for the entire first year across all degree programs to come together, to get to know each other, and that's a week-long residential field trip. And the same for all our core field trips. All of those field trips are included in the fees that you pay. There are no additional costs associated with that. We think that's only right. So that is a fantastic field trip which the students love. In the first year, you have a first year field trip to the Lake District. In the second year, there's a core field trip for all students. And again, that's very popular with the students. You can come together at the start of your second year to put into practice what you've learned in your first year and discuss some of the ideas that you're going to be covering in the second year. And this module is really very much focused on gearing you up for your research project. In the final year that you're going to be doing, you really get to see field work in action, research being undertaken by some of my colleagues there, and myself included. So an optional third year field trip is currently to Spain, to the Alhambra and to Lucerne field trip, and that's very popular every year. The students love that. That's a good way to explore, in particular, development and tourism related issues. So we're very lucky at the University of Hertfordshire. I think we're one of very few geography departments that have our own dedicated field station, which you will spend some time at. A lot of your lectures and lab-based work will be taking place on our campus at College Lane, which is a lovely campus, and I hope you get the chance to visit that in the future. But we also have our Bayford campus, which we occasionally go to put into practice those field skills that you've been learning about. And it is a wonderfully lovely place to go and visit. We have our own lake there, glass houses and lab facilities, which you can see a former colleague of mine teaching at there. Also across the university, we have extensive resources. We have 2 learning resource centres, one on College Lane, one on the de Havilland campus. Both of those campuses are only 5 minutes apart, 10 minutes by foot, 5 minutes by shuttle bus, very easily located next to each other. And they are great resources. But as you would expect, a lot of the learning resource books that you'll need for the course are available online, etc. But if you need to go and work in a library, we have a we have fantastic labs, computer facilities where you can practice GIS and use various statistical packages such as SPSS. And we also have breakout study rooms in the LRC where you can go and take group work. And also where we have some drone technology that we use increasingly to facilitate research for students and staff. So just some more pictures there of students in the field. So one of the things that helps to set our degree programs out is the opportunity for you to undertake a placement year or a year abroad. If you decide to do that, and that option becomes available to you when you move from your second to your third year, you take a year out in essence before you move on to your final year. That year doesn't attract any fees. You're not charged for that year. We want to encourage you to get out there and take advantage of this opportunity. So our placement year has been running for decades now at the university, for a long time, and lots of our students do go out and undertake a placement. Many of our students go and work for very well-known companies such as GlaxoSmithKline, RSK Consultancy. Also, students work for water companies. Notably, we've had an arrangement with Affinity Water, which is the largest water supplying company in England. It's our students have been going there for over 20 years, undertaking a placement, and they found that hugely beneficial. We have students that also go and work for local county council, Hertfordshire County Council, and taking planning placements. Local councils beyond that undertaking environmental placements. They work at the university in our environmental team. So we have a huge range of placements available for our students to undertake to further advance their work experience, skills, and their knowledge of work. And quite often, if those students succeed in that year, the door is left open for those students. Often they are made job offers to come back and work permanently for those institutions. If a placement year isn't quite for you and you think, actually, I'd like to go get out there and explore the world, we have one of the most extensive networks of study abroad placements in the world, which include such countries as Australia, Canada, North America, many parts of Europe as well under the Erasmus scheme. There's a huge wealth of opportunity there for you to engage, and you'll be supported for placements and study abroad right throughout your studies, in terms of getting to think about, where can I go, what can I do, how can I get myself ready for these opportunities. You'll be supported, and it's quite often we encourage our students to do a placement year because it gives you that edge in comparison to students that have just gone to their degree and haven't undertaken a work specific placement. And also, if you undertake a study abroad year, it's an opportunity for you to meet people from all over the world that you never would have had the opportunity to do before, and that can be life-changing. So, as you can see on this slide here, it's entitled Reaching Your Potential. And like many other universities throughout the country, we've invested tens of millions of pounds in our infrastructure and our facilities, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's only right that we've done that. So we have fantastic student leisure facilities, the forum, we have sports facilities, we have LRCs, which are incredibly well resourced, giving you access to journals and books, anything you can really imagine that will support your learning. But one of the key things that helps to set us up, we think, is our ability to connect with our students and our availability for our students. Because one of the key things that helps you to learn is not just getting written feedback on your work, it's that opportunity to discuss that with your tutor and your lecturers. And we are driven by teaching excellence at the university. We are gold rated for our teaching, and that comes across in our accessibility and our willingness to engage with our students. That's what we're here to do. We're here to develop you for the next stage in your career. We're very privileged, and we've been very lucky as academics to be able to study about environment and to learn about it. But we love to communicate that, to share that knowledge. That's what we want to do. We want to pass it on to you, and hopefully in the process inspire you to study even more and on to further study. And to illustrate how well we support our students, there's a quote here from Sean Tyrrell, who's a former student who went on to undertake a master's and then a PhD at Cranfield University. And Sean was a fantastic student to teach, very engaging, and it was a real privilege to teach him. And his quote here says, "The most positive memory I have is the approachability of the lecturers and their willingness to help." And I hope that sums us up, and I hope that you will get to feel the same way if you come and study with us. So another thing, just to kind of remind you about the university and why we think studying geography and environment at the University of Hertfordshire is a good place to do that, is our location. We are 25 minutes from London by train, which is one of the greatest cities on earth, and it really is an amazing place to study. Lots of your fieldwork for the urban, the human geography side of our degree programme, so you'll be going into London and looking at the various spaces there and the planning there, for instance. It's also an amazing place to be. You're so close to museums that allow you to understand and explore the world more. You're close to the British Museum, the British Library rather, that I mentioned at the start of my talk. What a wonderful place to be. It is an amazing opportunity, and it's also a great place to then start your career at the end of your degree next to one of the largest employment markets in the world. It's just a dynamic, exciting place to be. It's a global city. And moving on to that, we think location. It sounded a bit like Kirsty and Phil, but is the Abbey where you will graduate from. St Albans is a lovely market town to be next to. It's again only about 15 minutes by bus or drive, and a lot of our students go to live there at the end of their studies or live there during their studies, and this is where you'll be graduating from when you finish your degree with it. So at the end of that, you will be one of the most employable graduates, and that could be you walking down the aisle there at the Abbey. It's absolutely fantastic way to end your studies. Our graduates have fantastic employability. I think, if I recall correctly, we're in the top 20 for the employability of our graduates. What better way to set yourself up for the future than to study with us and know that our degree programs are applied, they are what employers want, and that you'll be starting moving on to the next stage of your career really well because you've studied with us. We've prepared you well. And on that note, I think it's worth noting that our degree programs are accredited by the Royal Geographical Society and the Institute of Environmental Sciences. So you're assured that we are teaching you what you need to know, and that's valued by other people in the sector, that notably those professional bodies. So this really brings me to the end of my talk. I would usually spend a little bit longer talking to people on an open day, but I've tried to keep this as short and concise as possible. It's really an opportunity to ask questions. Now, well, this is an online talk and you don't necessarily have that opportunity, but I will be participating in the University Buddy Ask a Question service that we have, so do send me questions that way. You're welcome to email me. My contact details will be coming up. It really is not a problem for me to answer your questions. Please do ask, and don't feel that your question is silly or it's not relevant. It's relevant to you, and that's what matters, because if you're asking a question, something's not clear and you need to ask it. And that's the approach that I think I have and many of my colleagues have when we're teaching you. Please just ask questions, because the more you do so, the more you will learn and the more comfortable you will be in learning and happier you will be, and that's what matters. And so I'd just like to end with a final quote. This is from Charles Hughes, and it was wonderful teaching Charles. He really went on a massive learning journey with us, and it's nice to end with this. I think he says, "You have inspired me to develop a career within the field and to ask many questions. I am truly grateful for your knowledge and expertise and for all the help that you gave us." That's tremendous, and that's what we're here to do. On this slide, I'm just highlighting with some of the words that you can see there what makes us stand out. We have excellent employability, our staff are enthusiastic, that's confirmed every year via the NSS and our module feedback questionnaires that students fill out. We have extensive field work, really getting you out there into the field, applying what you're being taught. Our staff are approachable. We're in an excellent location, 20 minutes from London, major global city. And we will develop you as that learner. We will take you on a learning journey to get you to the next stage. So you're ready for employment, you're ready for further study anywhere in the country. Our students, when they've studied with us, have gone on to work for fantastic institutions, GlaxoSmithKline, Affinity Water, Hertfordshire County Council, DHL, anything really, working for the major banks, etc. Geography does set you up well for that, as does our environment degree. But we will also develop you. So our students have gone on to study Durham, Cambridge, Institute of Education in London, UCL, you name it. We probably be able to cite a student who's gone to study in many of these other institutions. And we're very flexible. We will work with you throughout your studies to help you choose the pathway, your degree program that works for you. So hence that ability to switch at the end of your first year, which many students find very helpful. So as I started with a quote, I'd like to end with a quote. So many years ago, I got given a postcard, and people, when you tend to be in my area, people like to find things here that relate to your area and what you do, and being an academic in the area of geography and environment. And it's always very nice when you get a card like this, because it means people have really thought about you and what matters to you. But there's a nice quote here, which I think sums up what geography is about and environment is about. Two cowboys standing in the Midwest, and they're saying to each other, "Well, we did it, killed off the buffalo, the antelope and the deer, moved out any Indians we didn't massacre, cut down the trees, plowed up the topsoil so it blew away. and we mined the hell out of anything that was left. Now look, it's totally clean. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? And I think the world that we're living in, we are using resources at an ever greater rate. We are degrading the environment at ever greater rate. We are faced by the issue of climate change. That quote is very pertinent, and we need to understand our environment. We need to look at ways to better manage it, better manage our interactions with each other, plan the environments that we learn in much more effectively, so that we are far more sensitive to the environment and each other. And that's what our degree programs will really get you to think about and do. So if you want to keep in contact, please do not hesitate to contact me. My email is j.o.jenkins. It's on the slide there at hearts.ac.uk. Please email me. You can send me questions on the University Buddy system, and I will respond to them as quickly as I can. It really won't be a problem. It's a pleasure to teach students and answer your questions. It's a real privilege. So please don't hesitate to email me your questions if I can help. It's not a problem.